Is it true that the Home Office is now subject to a judicial review over the treatment of people at the Manston Immigration Centre?
Well, good evening. I believe we have received the initial contact for a judicial review. That's not unusual. This is a highly litigious area of policy. But of course, as the Minister responsible, I want to ensure that everything that we do is conducted appropriately and within the law. And so in the week that I've been in post, I have tried to work night and day to ensure that the Manston site is not just legally compliant, but is a humane and compassionate place where we welcome those migrants, treat them appropriately, and then they leave quickly to alternative accommodation. And I'm very pleased to say this evening that that's exactly the path that we're on. The number of people at Manston has fallen very substantially since the weekend when we became aware of the specific issues and got involved so directly. And I think we're on a path now whereby within a matter of days, assuming we don't see very large numbers of further migrants arriving across the Channel. I don't think that's going to happen because we have good forecasts of the weather and the other intelligence that we have from northern France. So I expect that Manston will be returned to a well-functioning and certainly legally compliant site very rapidly.
A matter of days? What's changed? Have you basically tried to take over Suella Braverman's brief on this?
No, absolutely not. We've been working extremely closely together and we've procured more hotels. We have extra support. We've got brilliant officers from Border Force, supported by contractors and members of the armed forces, and we're processing the migrants who are in the camp very quickly.
Just on the judicial review, do you know who it's been brought by?
I don't think I can comment on what might be ongoing legal action.
They're not the only people who are concerned. This evening, 4 parliamentary committee chairs, including 2 Conservatives, have also written to ask what the Home Office is doing to address the conditions in Manston. They are worried in particular about the conditions children are being held in and the use of forts and physical searches. You know, being honest, are you worried as well?
Well, when I visited the camp on Sunday, I thought conditions were poor and they needed to change rapidly. And
why were
that's
they
exactly
poor?
Well, mainly because of the number of people who are there. Remember, this facility was functioning acceptably just a matter of weeks ago. What's changed is that we've had a very large number of individuals cross the Channel in small boats. We would love to think we can control that, but of course that's not entirely within our control. And then we had this terrible attack on Sunday by this individual in Dover, which caused us to evacuate the almost 1,000 people who were there and bring them immediately to the site. And that increased the numbers from 3,000, which was already too many, to 4,000, where there was real strain on the site. I would just say, having been there, that some of the reporting is inaccurate. There were suggestions that there have been diseases like diphtheria running wild in the facility. That's not correct. To the best of my knowledge, there have been 4 cases out of thousands of individuals. Each of those cases, we believe, came into the site, if you like, rather than being caught there. There's a very good medical facility. When I was there on Sunday, there were 2 emergency doctors, there were paramedics and nurses. Everybody is clothed, they're fed, they're supported whilst they're there, just as you'd expect. We have values as a country. Just because somebody's chosen to come as a migrant, we don't want them to come in this way in small boats. But when they're here, we'll treat them appropriately. And that's exactly what we are doing and what we want to get to in the coming days.
It's not just an issue that is about this one immigration centre, though, is it? It's about the strain on the system as a whole. And I just want to look now at a chart showing the UK asylum caseload. It effectively shows a rising number of cases that are classed as still in process without a full resolution. I mean, is that really good enough?
No. No, it's clearly not good enough. And we have a task to do now. As I say, I'm new in the position. Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, has only been in position for 6 or 7 weeks as well. So together we're going to work intensively to reduce that backlog of cases. We've already put a significant amount of extra resource behind this. We have 1,000 people working on cases. The system is quite slow in this country compared to some of our comparators like France and Germany. We think we can improve productivity, get people processing the claims much faster. But I would just say that all of what we've been talking about in the last week are the symptoms of the problem. The problem is the fact that 40,000 people have chosen to get into small boats, to cross the Channel at the behest of dangerous, illegal, criminal gangs, and we are having to try to cope with that. And our infrastructure was never designed for 40,000 people to come in small boats and to land on our beaches or be saved at sea by Border Force, RNLI and the Royal Navy. With the best will in the world, that would always put immense strain on our system.
Just to come back, because you said that they've chosen to come, if you're not from Hong Kong or Ukraine or Afghanistan, where there are specific and bespoke legal ways to claim asylum or to claim an immigration claim to come to the UK, how do you claim asylum legally in the UK? Because you only have to make the claim when you're in the UK, and yet you're supposed to claim in the first safe country that you land in. So it's impossible, isn't it?
No, it's not correct. Firstly, the numbers on the schemes you just quoted are very large. So there's 150,000 people in this country from Ukraine.
My point is, this is part of the reason why, if you're from another country and you feel that you are unsafe and you want to claim asylum...
Let me just finish that point. Firstly, the numbers are very large from those places. So the suggestion made by some that the UK is not a big-hearted, generous country that's trying to play its part in a global migration crisis is not correct, because we've issued 130,000 Hong Kong BNO visas. We've got 150,000 people here under the Homes for Ukraine scheme. We've brought tens of thousands of Afghans to the UK. In addition to that, there are other safe and legal routes. There's a community sponsorship route which would enable churches, synagogues, mosques, community groups to sponsor individuals to come here. We have another scheme where we work with the UNHCR to enable people who are in real distress, often in refugee camps, to come here.
But it's true to say that the advice on the website says you should apply for asylum when you arrive in the UK, and also says your claim might not be considered if you travel to the UK through a safe third country.
That's right, isn't it?
Well,
I think fundamentally that's the right approach. If you're in a safe country like France, that's where you should claim asylum. I think the British public are absolutely flabbergasted that there are people in France who don't deem that to be a safe country and put themselves and often their children as well in immense danger to come to the UK. You know, we want a system where we can support people who are genuinely in danger, who are escaping war, persecution, serious human rights abuses, like we're doing with Hong Kong, Afghanistan and Ukraine. We do not want a system that takes people literally out of the sea, often who are economic migrants, and prioritises those over people...
who are economic migrants?
Well, a very substantial minority, perhaps more, are economic migrants. I mean, if you look at the example of Albania, this year a quarter of those people who've come in small boats have come from Albania. Albania is a demonstrably safe country. It's a European country. You've got Edi Rahman, the Prime Minister of Albania, tonight saying, you know, don't talk Albania down, we're a safe country. It is not right.
He also said targeting Albanians as the cause of Britain's crime and border problems makes for easy rhetoric but ignores hard fact.
Well, I want to have a constructive and productive relationship with our Albanian friends. That's extremely...
Sounds a bit under strain now.
That's extremely important. But it is correct that a quarter of people who've come in small boats have come from Albania this year. And the NCA, our national crime organisation, has said that a very significant proportion of serious organised crime is emanating from those individuals. And again, I think there are millions of people who'd be watching your programme this evening who would think, why on earth is this country spending thousands of pounds on hotels, on support for young men coming from a safe country? Either we shouldn't do that at all, or we should prioritise that on people in genuine danger, such as an Afghan interpreter and their family who've served the United Kingdom with honour and distinction. Those are the people we should be working to support.
Now, we are running out of time. You're a close ally of the Prime Minister. You're described in some articles as his closest friend in Parliament. It feels like you're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, if I may say, on the media rounds, such as this evening, on one of the biggest challenges facing government. Are you the de facto Home Secretary?
No, obviously not. And although I am good friends with Rishi Sunak, my longest friendship in politics is Suella Braverman, who I've known for 20 years, and I have huge respect for her. She is a great Home Secretary, and one of the things that she is good at is articulating the genuine concerns of the British public on this issue.
So you haven't been put in position as Immigration Minister, I guess, in case the ball did come away from the back of the
She and I are working in lockstep on this issue, Because the British public expect their government to provide safe borders and a fair and robust immigration system. And that's exactly what we intend to deliver.
We're out of time. Thank you.
Thank you.